Halim Sir, we care youngsters. Welcome to my YouTube channel. English grammar from grade 6 to grade 12. Can you tell me? The work is done by Mahdi. The work is done by Mahdi. What kind of sentence is it? Very good. This is passive voice. Passive voice. So today we will discuss what? Voice sense, assertive sentence. Assertive sentence. Let's start. At the end of the lesson, we will be able to change the sentences into active to passive voice. Today we will discuss assertive sentence. Let's start. At first we have to know how many sentences you have to change. What kind of? First one is active. You have to change a sentence into active. To make a sentence, to transfer a sentence into active, you have to work three work. Remember it. And number 2, passive voice. You have to change a sentence into passive voice. At that time, you have to work five work. Okay. And there are some sentences begins with verb or let. Can you tell me which sentence is this? Very good. That is imperative sentence. For imperative sentence, you have to work 6 times. 6W. So, to change a sentence into active to passive, you have to work 5 times. You have to work. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. If you can change, if you can work 5 at that time, you can change a sentence into passive easily. Let's see what are they. First one, object will be subject. From the sentence, at first you have to seek where the object is, and you can bring the object to the subject. So it's very much easy for you. So number 1, object will be what? Subject. And number 2, you have to give auxiliary verb. You have to give auxiliary verb. If auxiliary verb is available in the sentence, you have to give another auxiliary verb. You must give one auxiliary verb from yourself. You have to give. And number 3, you have to make the sentence verb 3. Verb 3 means first participle. In my next video, we will memorize some strong verb and weak verb. Conjugation of verb. From next video, we will discuss more verbs. Conjugation of verbs. So, without knowing first participle, if you can't transfer the verb into first participle V3, you never make the sentence into passive. So before doing voice, you have to memorize the word, the verb. Do, did, done. Do is V1, did is V2, done is V3. So without knowing it, you never continue voice. So from next video we will discuss important verb, conjugation of verbs. Okay, and dot means etc. There are more words in the sentence, etc. You can make it, you can bring the part into dot. Before by, you have to write it. And number 4, you have to write by. So number 1, subject will be object. Object will be subject, number 1. Number 2, you have to give auxiliary verb. Number 3, verb V3, verb first participle, and etc. Number 4, by, and number 5, subject will be object. So can you tell me again? Number 1, what is number 1? Number 1 is what? Very good. Object will be subject. That is number 1. Number 2, auxiliary verb. You have to give auxiliary verb. Number 3, what? Very good. Yeah. You have to make the verb into what? First participle, V3. Number 3. And you have to write extension, extra part of the sentence. And number 4 is what? By. Number 4 is what? By. You have to use by here. And number 5, subject will be object. Subject will be object. Very easy for you. Thank you so much. Okay, now we have to discuss some auxiliary verb. If there is auxiliary verb, you have to give another auxiliary verb. So what is it? That is what? If the sentence will be present tense, or if there is do or does, you have to use what? Tell me. What? Am is are. Very good. If the sentence is present tense, verb is present tense, or you have got do not, or does not, at that time you have to use am is are. Very good. And number 2, what? Past tense. If the verb is past tense, or they have used did not, at that time you have to use what? Was and oh yeah. Very good. Nice. So remember it. You have to give one auxiliary verb from your memory. So present tense, do, does, you have to use am, is, are. If the verb is past form or did, you have to use was or oh yeah. Wonderful. If the sentence has what? Am, is, are, was, or yeah, be, verb, shall, will, shall be, will be, modal auxiliary. So what will you do? At that time you have to use, after using this one, you have to add being. That means am being, is being, are being, like that. Will be or shall be being. Karim will be being, like that. Mahdi will be being. Right. Okay, now we will discuss about have verb, to have verb. If you have got have or has or had, at that time you have to give what? Been. That means have been, has been, or had been, right? And if there is modal auxiliary, what is modal auxiliary? May, can, shall, will, could, would, am to, is to, are to, or am going to, is going to, have to, has to, is to, are to. If you will get that kind of auxiliary verb, at that time you must use what? You have to use be. You have to use be. Remember it. Without knowing this item, you never complete voice. You can never change a sentence into passive. So remember it. To make the sentence passive to active, it's also important. Okay. Now change the sentences into passive voice. Let's see first sentence. Mishma is going to finish the task. Mishma is going to finish the task. So Mishma is very good girl. Very good. So you have to change the sentence into passive. So what is the object here? Can you tell me? After verb there is an object. So the object is what? The task. Number 1. 5. You have to work 5. Number 1 is what? Object will be subject. So the task is number 1. Number 2. Auxiliary verb. You have to give auxiliary verb. So the task is going to. We have to write is going to. And another one you have to give. Number 2. So is going to, am going to, may, might, could. What will be? Modal auxiliary. Very good. You have to use be. So is going to be. Wonderful. The task is going to be. Wonderful. And number 3 what? V3. That means finished. Okay. So finished. Number 3 verb past participle V3. So the task number 1 is going to be number 2. Number 3 verb past participle, that means finished. And there is no extra word, so you can use number 4. What is number 4? Very good. Number 4 is by. Right. And now number 5, last one. What is it? Last one is subject will be object. What is the subject? Very good. Mishma. So you have to write by Mishma. So what will be? The task is going to be finished by Mishma. Thank you. Very good. Next one, Mahadi, younger brother of Mishma. Mahadi is also very good boy. So Mahadi is reading a storybook. I like them so much. Mahadi is reading a storybook. Make the sentence into passive. Okay, tell me what will be. Okay, so let's see. Number 1 is what? Object will be subject. So object is a story book. Very good. So a story book will be the first time. Number 2. Number 2 is. So you have to use is being. B-E-I-N-G. Is being. A storybook is being. And number 3, verb past participle. Read, read. So read. A storybook is read. Number 4, by. And number 5, Mahadi. So what will be the answer? A storybook is being read by Mahdi. Very good. So it is very much clear to you. You can make any sentence into passive voice. Wow, who is he? Mr. Patan, right? Patan has finished breakfast. So what will be? Patan has finished breakfast. So number one, what? Object will be subject. So breakfast. At first you have to write breakfast. Okay. And then second one, auxiliary verb. There is has, and you have to use been. So breakfast has been, and finished is also already here. Verb first participle finished by 4, 5 pattern. So there are 5 words. So what will be? Breakfast has been finished by pattern. Wonderful. Next, Shihab is very much tired, isn't it? Okay, Shihab will complete exercise. So what will be? Number 1, object will be subject. So exercise will be first. Number 2, yes, modal auxiliary will, you have to use be, will be. And number 3, complete, past participle, completed. Number 4, by. Number 5, subject will be object by Shihab. So exercise will be completed by Shihab. Very nice, excellent work. So you never miss any sentence. You can change every kind of sentence into passive. Work hard so that you can be greatest man in the world. Okay, Samvin saw a bird flying in the sky. So what is the object? What? The sky is object? Never. After bird, object is what? A bird. So at first you have to write a bird. A bird. Okay. And number 2, auxiliary verb. So verb is past form. So what will be? Very good. Was or were. So a bird was. Verb first participle. So what? She saw, seen. Wonderful. So a bird, number 1, was. Number 2, number 3, seen. And number 4, oh sorry, before 4, dot is here. So you have to write flying in the sky. A bird was seen flying in the sky. Number 4, by. Number 5, Tanzim. Wonderful. So let's see. You have to know 5W, 5 words. A bird was seen flying in the sky by Tanzim. 5 words. Next sentence. Shihab will not eat ice cream. Shihab will not eat ice cream. So what will be answer? Object what? Ice cream. Okay. So you have to write ice cream first. Number 2, will. Very good. Will not be. Will not be number 2. Number 3, eat at, eaten. Number 3 and number 4, by. Number 5, subject, object, Shihab. Last one, Mahi. Mahi is who is Mahi? Mishma and Mahdi's younger brother. Mahir. Mahir wrote a letter to Jarif. So what will be? What will be? Number 1 is what? Object will be subject. Object will be subject. So a letter will be subject. Number 1, a letter. Number 2, auxiliary verb. So verb is past form. At that time you have to use what? Was or yeah. Was or yeah. Very good. So was. A letter was. Number 3, verb first participle, right root written. Yeah, so verb first participle written. A letter was written. Number 3 finish. And before number 4 there are dot dot. That means 2 Jarif you can write. Root. A letter was written to Jarif. Dot dot, isn't it? And after number 4 by, and number 5 subject will be object. That means Mahi. Wonderful. So a letter was written by Mahi to Jarif. Okay, I think it's very much clear to you, isn't it? So I have given 5 HW. Change the sentence, following sentences into active verse to passive. Number 1 is what? The man told a lie. Number 2, Jahin is flying kites. Number 3, Rafi can tell the matter. Number 4, you will not insult him. Number 5, Mishma draws a picture. Quickly finish the sentences into passive voice and write the answer into my what? Facebook page or in the comment box of this video. So, dear viewers, write your feelings to the comment box of this video or my Facebook page, Halim Sir. See you again with another video soon. Have a nice day. Wishing you a golden future. Thank you. Goodbye.